Hi, I'm Louie Sabandal,
And I'm Raumel Salurio.
and we invite you to join us in exploring the remarkable historical site of Fort Santiago.
In this video, we will be showing you the beautiful buildings and areas of Fort Santiago, along with some backstory and places we explored. In the end of the video, we also had an interview and their answer to the synthesis questions. So, let's start. Fort Santiago stands as one of Manila's earliest fortifications that were created by the Spaniards. Back in 1571, the Spanish conqueror Miguel Lopez de Legazpi re-established Raja Soliman's Manila as the new capital for the growing Spanish Empire in the Far East. Soon after that, the fort was destroyed in 1574 during the Chinese attack. The stone fort was built between 1589 and 1592, and was repaired and extended after being damaged by the 1645 earthquake. Spanish, British, American, and Japanese occupation forces used the fort as their headquarters and a prison for men, women, children, and soldiers. Fort Santiago is also well known because this was the place where our Philippine national hero, Jose Rizal, was jailed when he was captured by the Spaniards. Did you know Fort Santiago was named after Saint James, or Santiago in Spanish, the patron saint of Spain who is also known as the slayer of the Moors. He was a Spain ideological icon and legendary depiction of the apostle Saint James the Great. Plaza Moriones is a public square in Intramuros, Manila. Located in front of the entrance to Fort Santiago, it is one of the three major plazas in Intramuros. Plaza Moriones was also the traditional open ground for military review, drills, and parades. In today's world, this venue is now being used for wedding, party, or corporate functions that can accommodate a total of 300 guests for a banquet setup. On the left side of the plaza is the Baluartillo de San Francisco Javier. It was built in 1662 as part of the seaside defense of Fort Santiago. The chambers now have been transformed to adaptive reuse, which now house the Intramuros Visitor Center, coffee shops, souvenir stores, and restrooms. Did you know this place was named after San Francisco Javier, one of the founding companions of the Society of Jesus? Today, there are several schools named after Saint Francis Javier. Deep inside the Baluartillo is the Reducto de San Francisco Javier. This structure was built in 1773 under the supervision of engineer Dionisio O'Kelly. In 1983, the site was converted into the Our Lady of Guadalupe Shrine, a chapel that honors the aforementioned title for the Virgin Mary. A copy of the image imprinted on the tilma of the shepherd to whom the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared in Guadalupe, Mexico, is enshrined in the Reducto. On the right of San Francisco Javier is the ruins of American Barracks. This is where the former Philippine President, Eplidio Quirino, was imprisoned for 16 days in 1943. During the Japanese occupation, the ruins underwent retrofitting in 2017 and is used today as an open-air exhibition space. Did you know, inside the building of Quirino's prison, bullet holes in several walls of the ruined building can be seen? In front of Plaza Moriones is a moat. This man-made canal connects to the Pasig River and Manila Bay, making Fort Santiago a formidable fortress island. The moat was filled in with earth by the early 20th century, and eventually redug and restored by the Intramuros administration in the 1980s. Here stands the gate leading to the inner sanctum of Fort Santiago. The gate was destroyed during the Battle of Manila. What remains of the original gate are the embossed Spanish soldiers, now defaced. After entering the gate of Fort Santiago is the Plaza de Armas. The plaza and its name is a common feature in fortresses built by the Spaniards in their colonies throughout the world. It got its name from the use of the area to stock arms and rifles when not in use. Near the end of the plaza is a statue of the late Jose Rizal. The next clip will contain only photos as the museum did not allow us to take videos. The Museo ni Rizal is administered by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. This brick barracks, which was first built in the 16th century, has been in a ruined state since its destruction during the Battle of Manila in 1945. Here, Jose Rizal was imprisoned for 56 days, from November 3 to December 29, 1896. This is where he spent his final days and where he wrote his final poem, Mi Ultimo Adios. Did you know, even though Jose Rizal was famous for his writings, he also explored the world of art. In the museum, we saw pictures, sculptures, and even a puzzle that he invented. Across Museo ni Rizal, the Raja Soliman Theater was formerly the infantry quarters of Fort Santiago, but destroyed during the Battle of Manila in 1945. It was renovated in 1967 by national artist for architecture, Leandro Locsin, and turned into an open-air theater for the use of the Philippine Educational Theater Association, or PITA. Did you know, in the chapel cell where Jose Rizal was imprisoned, the Raja Soliman Theater was the view that he saw in his window cell. Ironically, seen in the photo we took inside the theater, Jose Rizal's statue can be seen from the inside. Across Plaza de Armas is the White Cross. After the Battle of Manila in 1945, 600 decomposing bodies were found around Intramuros. Their remains lie in a mass grave under a white marble cross beside the dungeons. Many innocent people never came out alive after entering Fort Santiago as victims of war. There are rumors that Fort Santiago to be haunted by ghosts of soldiers and civilian victims killed during World War II. Beside the White Cross is the dungeons. Below were originally used for powder magazines until the dampness proved detrimental to storing gunpowder. These were then converted into prison cells. There were several depictions of Japanese soldiers and Filipino prisoners across the dungeons. There were also gruesome photos that show the true horror caused by wars. The dungeons were recently rehabilitated and are now open to the public. Did you know, stories of prisoners being drowned in the dungeons of Fort Santiago during high tide continue to this day. Coming out of the dungeons is Postigo Soledad. This postern was used by the occupants of Fort Santiago as a passage to the Pasig River. Did you know, during the British invasion of Manila in 1762, Simon de Anda escaped to the province of Zamboanga through this postern. Now that we've finished touring Fort Santiago, let's move on to the interview.
Hi, I'm Louie si Sabandal, and you are?
I'm Curtisin Urbano po. We are from Quezon City Science High School.
May question lang po ako.
Yes.
Sa tingin niyo po, bakit po dinadayo itong Fort Santiago and ano pong significance niya?
Personally po, kaya po namin dinayo itong Fort Santiago is because nagpi-filming po kami para sa Loli Mitangere, which is isang napaka-historical na libro at saka revolusyonal. Ang dami niyang impact sa mundo. Kung bakit po dinadayo siya ng mga foreigners, kasi parang nakikita po nila yung na-preserve na kultura ng mga Pilipino, na-preserve na mga artifacts, na kapag balik tanaw na lang po sila, ganito pala yung pamumuhay noon, ganito pala yung naranasan nila noon. Sa significance naman po, mahalaga po tong Fort Santiago kasi dito po natin mababalik tanaw yung mga paghihirap po natin. Dito po natin maikukumpara kung saan na tayo ngayon tsaka saan tayo dati. Yun lang naman po. Maraming salamat.
Looking back on the way we explored the Fort Santiago, na-amaze ako kung paano nila na-preserve yung lugar. And kahit may mga ibang places na renovate, they still did a great job on maintaining it. Na-realize ko din na dapat talaga nating tinatangkilik yung mga historical sites kasi tulad nga nung sinabi sa nung interview kanina, napapag-compare doon natin kung asan tayo noon and kung asan na tayo ngayon. Tulad lang din sa buhay, whenever we're stuck on making decisions and we tend to look back on the past para makita natin yung mga past mistakes natin and para matulungan tayo mag-step forward.
Going into SS032 or readings in Philippine history, I feel like I've appreciated our past more, our history. We've always tackled about history back in high school, right? Like AP and Civica, but I think this is the first time I've actually seen firsthand the primary sources of people and what they wrote and what they thought in the past. It made me appreciate who I am more. It made me more proud of our history and my nationalism. I think the most important thing I've carried on from this subject into my daily life is I tend to seek out the truth more. I actually want to know and I actually want to analyze before just believing in things I read. That's the most important part that I've learned.